Hi guys, and welcome to the Divine Triangle Numerology Spreadsheet version 7 demonstration video. If by chance you're watching this video before August 21st, 2026, then version 7 is only available to the early access list. The public version goes live on August 21st. If you want to skip the intro and get right to the new features, the timestamps are in the description below. And for anyone who is new to this spreadsheet, it is based on the books Numerology and the Divine Triangle by Faith Javane and Dusty Bunker, and Numerology and Your Future by Dusty Bunker. Those books provide a lot more information on the system, so I always recommend using them as a reference whenever possible. And one last thing before we get into what's new, version 7 does rely on some of Excel's dynamic array functions, so it will not work in Apple numbers or in Excel 2019 or earlier. You will need Microsoft 365 or Excel 2021 or later. I haven't fully tested it on Google Sheets, but I do not expect it to work correctly just because of how complex the spreadsheet is. So in my last video, you may remember I said I wouldn't be making any more updates for the spreadsheet. Well, I had the opportunity to meet with one of the best modern numerologists, and they inspired me to redesign the spreadsheet and add several new features. I am, of course, talking about Opus, and you should go follow him on TikTok because he does regular live streams and uploads a lot more content on interpretations of numbers. I also received some feature requests from the community that I've included, and there were even some that came in recently that I didn't have the chance to add yet, but I do plan to add those in an update that will be coming early 2027. Alright, I'm super excited to show you what's in version 7, so let's jump right in. The first thing you'll notice is that the Instructions tab has been redesigned, and it's now called Start Here. There's nowhere else in the spreadsheet where you need to type anything except for on this tab. There are some optional places where you can, and I'll show you those in a sec. So make sure you read the disclaimer down here and refer to the instructions and the interpretation guide if you get stuck. As you would expect, you type a first name, middle name, and last name here. If you don't have a middle name, you can leave it blank. And you type your birth date in these boxes here below where it says Client 1 and Client 2. You can enter a time of birth here, but it doesn't change any of the calculations. It's just there as a reminder of the time that personal daily vibrations begin. If the name has a Y or a W in it, then these boxes are going to appear asking if any of them carry a vowel sound. So if they do, you'll need to type in a number here, and it's usually just 1 or 0. You don't have to type anything if it's 0. Once you've entered a name and birth date, it will show up at the top of the Client tabs. These used to be called My Chart 1 and 2, but I changed them for version 7 because this spreadsheet is designed for practitioners. You'll notice they look quite a bit different. I've tried to pack as much useful information in here as possible. So there is a nice visual Chinese zodiac wheel here, and the Chinese zodiac sign will show green with a check mark, and the enemy sign will show in red. I've also included the Lo Shu grid right here, which is a plot of your birth date numbers that make up your life path number. There is an option in the Start Here tab that will turn on the numbers here for reference. Just type a Y into this box to turn that on. And I do plan on adding some more useful options here for the next update. Below the Lo Shu grid, it shows the numbers that are missing from the grid, and these indicate qualities of life that don't come naturally, so you'll have to work to develop them, especially if they don't show up as your soul number, personality number, or destiny number. You'll also notice that there is both the life lesson number and the life path number. The life lesson number is the calculation from the books which does not reduce the month or day to a single digit before adding them to the reduced year. The life path number is the classic calculation which does reduce 2-digit months or days to a single digit before adding them to the reduced year. However, if you are born in 2000 or later, we use a 20 to sum the life path number instead of 2 plus 0. Right here is where if there is a Y or a W in the name that makes a vowel sound, it will show your soul and personality numbers in purple. I wanted to keep the original soul and personality numbers here in green since it is not fully agreed upon whether this situation gives you 2 soul and 2 personality numbers that are actually expressed or if the ones in purple supersede the ones in green. So for this, it's up to you whether to consider or disregard the green ones if the purple ones show up. Remember, they won't show up at all if you do not type a number into those boxes on the Start Here tab. That same Y or W situation shows up again a little further down with the 4-month cycle, which the book refers to as the period vibration. Each year gets split into 3 period vibrations, and the third one is calculated using the soul number. So if there's a Y or a W in the name that carries a vowel sound, that third period vibration will show up as 2 possible numbers instead of 1. So same as before, it's up to you to decide whether both are considered active or just the one. The power number works the same as in version 5. It won't show up until you're 27, and it's most active during the power square of your divine triangle geometry. In this area here, it shows all your current cycles based on today's date, so make sure your computer's date is set correctly. These ones below it show both the previous and upcoming cycles based on their respective timeframes. So for example, it shows last year, last month, and yesterday's vibration, and over here it shows next year's vibration, next month's vibration, and tomorrow's vibration. Below those, you'll see the vibrations for custom dates that you can input on the Start Here tab. This is pretty straightforward. And if you scroll down, you'll see the entire table of all the cycles by year and by month. If you look for the blue arrows, it will show you what's happening now. The arrow with the P next to it will denote your personal cycles, and the U will denote universal cycles. Over here, it shows the daily vibration cycles, and this is where if you want to see a different year, you will have to type it in the box right here. You maybe notice that in the current cycles, it will just say yes or no for a current divine triangle experience. This is because you can sometimes be having multiple ones at once. And so the actual vibrations now live over here in the divine triangle tab. And this is where you can see each client's life as it moves along the geometry and the entire delineation chart for all of their divine triangle experiences. You will have to scroll over to the right to see the chart for client 2. So that's over here. And just like in version 5, we have the cycles tabs, one for client 1 and one for client 2. These haven't changed, but it is a much better way to visualize overlapping cycles and see the dates of the action points and peak points inside your cycles. The More Numbers tab has gotten a few additions, so now not only will you be able to see all the pinnacle and challenge numbers here, and remember to scroll to the right to see the ones for client 2, everything from version 5, and I've now updated it to include the career number, which is the same as the life path number, as well as interpretations for those, and interpretations of the first vowel in the name, as well as the individual interpretations of each letter. For the first vowel in the name, you'll want to interpret it based on how many of that vowel are in the entire name. The second line is going to describe what an overbearing energy would be if there are 3 or more of that vowel in the name. The world calendar is also going to be the same as in version 5. This is where you can track the universal daily vibrations as well as the current zodiac year and month. And you can see the zodiac year and month for 3 custom dates, which you can type in these boxes here. And this is also where if you want to see a different year, you have to type it in this box here. And now onto some completely new features. I've included a tab called Home Analysis, where you can type in up to 11 different addresses to compare, and you can see the numerology behind them in this table over here. Another new very useful feature is the Search by Vibration tab. This is where you can type in any number and it will show you all the cycles that have that vibration, and it will also pull up its temporary description at the top. And that brings us to the Personal and Temporary Vibrations tab. These are references to help you interpret the numbers. Down here at the bottom of the Personal Vibrations tab, I've included a relationship compatibility table that includes descriptions on how 2 people are likely to interact based on their life path numbers. Over in the Temporary Vibrations tab, I've added the temporary zodiac descriptions at the bottom as well. That covers everything new in version 7. If you don't already have the spreadsheet, the link to grab it is right there in the description. And if you did purchase an earlier version, you won't need to pay full price. Check your email for a discount code that will allow you to upgrade by just paying the difference. I also want to mention that automated readings are now live on my website. So for anyone who'd rather have a report generated for them instead of working through the spreadsheet, those are available at excelsiornumerology.com. Link is in the description. The website does say within hours, but it usually takes less than 20 minutes for your reading to show up in your email. And I have another video with more info on those, so if you're curious, check out the link in the description. And that wraps up this update. Thank you guys for watching, and of course, a huge thank you to everyone who has supported the project over the last several years. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next one.